Hi, everybody, and welcome back to this edition of Inside Sports. I'm your host, Chris Marks, and today we are talking about the Capital Classic All-Star Game. Got to start right here in Prince George's County, right over there where the shopping mall is now, where the Capitol Center used to be. And joining me today on this show is Coach Eddie Simpson. He coaches at the Academy of the Holy Cross girls, and Coach Rob Garner, who used to coach at Friendly and now coaching at Wise High School, and you actually played in the Capital Classic All-Star Game. Thanks for being here today, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Now, we were talking before we went on, the Capital Classic has been around since 1974. Let's just talk about the game in general and what it means.
I'll let him start into it since he played in it.
Well, you know, I was very fortunate as a player to have played in the Capital Classic. I came out of high school, out of Potomac High School in Oxon Hill, Maryland in 1991, where I played under the legendary coach Taft Hickman. And at that particular time, it was named the McDonald's Capital Classic. And the only other All-Star game that was bigger was the McDonald's All-American game. And so being from the metropolitan area and having an opportunity to play in that game meant a whole lot.
And Coach, can you elaborate on?
Yeah, I know all kids inspired to try to be a part of that, whether it was even just on the preliminary game when we were growing up. I played local also at Albert Einstein High School, where I also coached girls basketball. And, you know, that was the people's inspiration to try to make the McDonald's Capital Classics and play for that game, or to make the preliminary game, because those were the biggest all-star games around at that time.
Now, Rob, I know we dated you a little bit. You said 1991, but I can assume that the selection process is kind of the same now as it was then. How did you find out you were playing in the game, and what was that like?
I'm not really sure. You know, I'm not sure how the selection process went at that particular time. You know, as a player, you're just kind of really concentrating on your team and trying to be as successful as you can with your team. I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to have a pretty good high school career on an individual basis. I know that you have to be one of the top players in the area, and I don't know how they deemed that to play in that game. Majority of the kids that were selected were all metropolitan players, and I don't know if they had some type of, I'm sure that they had a selection process and things, and people had to vote and things of that nature, but I'm not sure particularly how that goes.
Now, Coach Simpson, you touched on it a little bit earlier. In addition to the national game, there's a preliminary game, and you know, just recently they added a girls' game.
Actually, this is going to be the second year for them actually holding it back to back. I know they tried it once before, like 10 years ago, because I actually had a kid that played in that one as well. It was called the Girls Capital Classics. But I think the girls' side, they're trying to get that developed, get it to the level that the boys is, to make it as big as what the boys has been over the years. And I think, but getting the preliminary games in is big for any kids, the local kids. It's something that they will look back on and for the rest of their lives just realize that they've had a chance to play in something that meant so much.
And Rob, can we talk about some of the guys, you know, both of you who've come through? I know we were talking about Moses Malone played in the Capital Classic, and Michael Jordan played in the Capital Classic, Magic Johnson played in the Capital Classic, and what that has meant.
I mean, you know, growing up, you know, again, you know, those players playing in the game and you have an opportunity to be a part of that tradition just means a lot as a player, you know, being selected and being able to, I think for the kids in this area, just to be able to represent, you know, the capital, you know, the metropolitan area. And at that particular time, it seemed like there was always a fight for respect. You know, we wanted to bring some respect to the DC metropolitan area, and having an opportunity to play against the national players where, you know, you read so much about and you hear so much about, it was a great opportunity for us to be able to showcase our talent in the metropolitan area.
And when you talk about the talent in this area, there is quite a bit of it. And sometimes I feel like on the national media, it kind of gets slighted a little bit when you hear about Chicago, maybe North Carolina, maybe out west in California, and maybe Philadelphia?
Well, I think we get overshadowed on it on the boys' side as well as the girls' side. It's, you know, the talent level here is just unbelievable. We have put All-Americans into games everywhere else, and we're still not getting the respect that we deserve here in the D.C. area. The kids have just continued to play hard and have showcased themselves on the college level and taken their teams to national championships. A lot of kids on the girls' side in the ACC, the Big East, have come straight out of Washington, D.C., and these are the teams that have been winning national championships. I mean, you look at UConn. Back in the day, they had Amy Durant, who was one of the players that won the first national championship, you know, who played at, what is the school name, guy?
Seton?
No,
Sidwell Friends.
Right down the street from me at Holy Cross, and I can't even think of their name right now.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, but, you know, Courtney Gaines, who played at Walt Whitman, they were all at, part of that first championship. So,
You know, like we were talking about, on the boys' side, you coach public schools here. You might be going against a team that might send 3 guys to the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, you might.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I just wanted to kind of piggyback off what Coach was saying. You know, up until recently, you know, there was some recognition was starting to come our way a little bit, and through ESPN and Sports Illustrated, we're starting to recognize the D.C. metropolitan area with the boys and the girls basketball programs, with the amount of kids that were, you know, going to Division I schools and being drafted into the WNBA and the NBA, where they kind of almost like tagged us as the new hotbed of basketball.
And it has to be said because, like you guys are both saying, there's a lot of talent that comes out of this area. I mean, just down the street here, Riverdale Baptist is consistently ranked on the girls' side in the top 5 in the country.
Yeah, they constantly keep getting good players in there and keep the program on top in the area. It's, you know, it's a good program that they build on the basketball level. So not on the boys' side as well as the girls.
And then when you were over at Holy Cross, you know, how do you tend to build your program?
You go out, you recruit the players that best fit the program academically first, as well as trying to get players that will fit with your team. That's the best way to build your program, is making sure that they can buy into a system that's already in place.
Now, getting back to the Capital Classic All-Star Game, you know, a lot of people will say the game used to be held in the Capitol Center, then it was held in the Verizon Center, and now the game can't be played in these venues anymore. And I'd like to let the viewers know why that is.
Well, it's been because of the, I guess, a lot of it has to do with AAU basketball, with the AAU events being held in a lot of different D1 arenas, and a lot of these organizations were getting the cost of these colleges at prices that no one else could get them at, pretty much dirt cheap. And they were using it as a showcase for some maybe top recruits to come to this school and play in those particular organizations. And now, in order for them to put this event where it would make it clear across the board, they affected it with even the high school levels, not just AAU organizations, but any kid that's participating in high school.
And Rob, do you think that that is a detriment to the game and kind of downplays it a little bit because they can't play it in a big arena? And do you think it gives these colleges an advantage if it is in a big arena?
Well, I mean, I can see where, you know, perhaps if it was being held at an American university or something like that, it could be perhaps a little advantage there. You know, because of the prestige of the All-Star game, you would like it to be at a pretty big venue. You like it to be at the Verizon Center. You like it to be at Comcast. But at the same time, you know, the prestige is just about the quality, you know. And so hopefully, you know, even though it's being held at T.C. Williams this year, you know, perhaps that's a good thing. Now we can kind of bring it back to the quality and not focus so much on, you know, on where it's going to be held at, but the quality of players and competition that's going to be there.
And that's a good segue. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about some of the players who are playing in this year's game, where they might be going to college, and how you guys are going to manage coaching all these good players. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're talking about the rosters at the Capital Classic right after this message.